Technology, wow. Okay, so this is my first bill, and I got involved in sort of a really crazy way, having grown up with someone who works at SpaceX and loves Bill, and then 3 weeks coming here all the way from DC. So I'm here to talk about, if we're all human, why is it so hard to let everyone know that we are? So it has to do, in my opinion, with the pressures put on us by society. And I'm talking about how we can use the internet to advance our online identities, and more importantly, how there's been a paradigm shift. The profiles that used to be a supplement to our personality and represented part of it are actually now having to represent all of us. So how do we do that in the confines of our modern technology? So, hi, I'm Carter. I'm here because of how I use the internet and for no other reason. Hi. This is my resume. It's not relevant because the moment I tell you guys that have worked at the ad council and I'm a community manager for some national ad campaigns and how I am an organizer here, you guys are going to look at me and say,
I'm a fucking rocket scientist!
So, you're all fucking rocket scientists. Or scientists of a different kind. No, but seriously, I'm really qualified professionally and looking for a job after I graduate, so talk to me after and I'll give you a copy of my resume. So Google+, I use it as an experiment in authenticity. When I joined Google+, I wanted to see if I could be who I really was online within these constraints that we have. So could I represent my whole self and minimize the constraints? 35,000 followers later in just a few months, I realized that I might actually be onto something here. In fact, I'm so authentic that when I noticed that authenticity was spelled incorrectly, I kind of left it. But I noticed that when I was online, I was more myself there. I don't need that. I was more myself online than I actually was in real life. So here are all the places I exist: Facebook, Twitter, Google+, roller coaster forums, Path, Xbox Live, PSN, Amazon, YouTube, Quora, SlideShare, LinkedIn, Game Trailers, Last.fm, Turntable, and so on, and maybe a dating site in there somewhere. But if you wanted to know who I was, you could find me there. These are all the places where I represented part of my identity. And this right here, this visualization, is part of the problem. The internet fragments us. I had all these parts of me that weren't being represented as a dynamic human. So let's actually split you guys up a little bit. I'm going to talk to you guys like here, like you're my Facebook friends. I'm going to talk to you guys here like you're LinkedIn, right? And I'm going to talk to you guys over here like you're my friends on Turntable. Yeah, guys, what's up? I'm having a party tonight. You want to go out? This is how I talk. Fuck yeah, right? Hi, my name is Carter. I just got my BSBA in Business Administration from American University. I'm in my final semester of getting my BA in Film and Media Arts, and it's a pleasure to meet you. Andrew Bird's album is badass. Go check it out. At no point did I show you who Carter was. I showed you a part of who I was. And there are things I can't do in certain mediums because other people don't want me to. We need to find a way that we can limit these expectations. So before we get too much into this, what is our identity? Our identity is the combination of our experiences, our values, our thoughts, preferences, interests, sexuality, feelings. How the hell do we represent all of this online? And eventually, where we need to get to, and what it's being demanded of us with how much pressure is on us to have all these public personas, is residual self-image. It's the mental reflection of your digital self. That's kind of the key here. How do we see ourselves online to represent who we are in real life? This dynamic reflection is what we aim for, and Neo's digital form in the Matrix feels very complex. Even though this is his digital representation, we empathize with him. He feels human. So I'm a firm believer that to have the most rewarding experience online, we need to embrace a complex and genuine image. This is hard not only because of the technology restraints, but because of the fact that we don't want to be vulnerable. But we can't build relationships unless we are. So, I don't know. I don't really believe in shells because I think it denies the human experience. I believe in being myself fully and showing that, and it's easier in person. Because right now, you can see my micro expressions. You can see how I'm walking around. You're reading me, right? Yeah, cool. So this sort of idea, it works in real life. It's not a hard concept. Let's boil it down even further and see genuine is greater than image, right? We can all agree on that? Yes? No? Yes. Okay. Participation. So that actually works in real life too. So it's all the understanding of here are the things we need to be, so why can't we be these things? Why can't we represent this identity? And it's because of the loyalties, pressures, and expectations that are put on our identity. So when you see me, I'd say about a year ago or something like that, this is how you would see me. Oh, you can't really see me at all. My name is supposed to be behind those. It is on my screen. So you see the pressures, the money problems, what my parents think, loyalties, friends think, expectations, and sort of on the peripheral there are the feelings, ideas, experiences, and thoughts that you know exist. But you're willing to accept me within the confines of these expectations because you as well understand that you're giving in to these expectations and loyalties of what other people want you to be. So this is how our real-life personas go into online. The pressures of my Facebook friends dictate how I act. Of professionals dictate how I act. I hate LinkedIn. I really do. And you guys over here, my turntable friends, do the same thing. But when the internet was first founded, what was so cool about it is that we could escape all of those pressures. We could be whoever we wanted to be. It was a place for free learning. So why has that been lost? And it's because it's become a mirror of society. So here's what I'm trying to do. I want you to see Carter and see my feelings, ideas, experiences, and thoughts, and not the pressures that are being put on me and how I'm acting within those confines. So if we can do that, then our online selves, which is where these pressures are removed, actually start to dictate our real-life personalities. We're advancing faster online without these pressures than we are in real life. So, real fast, real life, pressures, personality, online persona. Right? Does that make sense? Yes? Cool. Online, this is where it needs to be. Our personality goes to our online persona, which then changes our real-life actions. And this is sort of a weird paradigm shift because we think of our online representations as just that. They're a mirror of who we are. But why aren't we using it to be dynamic people? So when the internet first started, we wanted to be someone else online. We had avatars. This was the first sort of free thinking, be whoever you want to be, et cetera, et cetera. We weren't really comfortable showing who we really were because society told us that we couldn't be who we really were, so we needed a digital representation to hide ourselves. So this little Yahoo girl could be any one of these people, and we didn't really care. And the reason we didn't care is because we liked that person for their ideas. This kind of doesn't put in the human factor in it all too well, because it's just idea sharing. Today, what we have is an online identity that's fragmented. We're widespread enough to show ourselves visually, but we're still confined by these pressures and expectations. This divides our audience. This makes it really difficult to engage and be genuine because we're sending conflicting messages across everywhere with the understanding that we exist in these spaces, but we're not allowed to build them together to create a dynamic person like a Transformer or a Gundam. Whatever happened to Gundam, actually. So to truly be ourselves, we're often still anonymous. So the avatar age, not really over. And this is where we're heading. So if that's the future, how do we get there? Well, there's a whole bunch of shit in the way. So when I say, or whenever you build your first profile online, the first thing you're going to see after your name and your gender, all really easy questions, is this. Yeah. About me. At which point I say, holy shit. And you just kind of stop. Because let's do a little experiment. I want you guys to answer as quickly as you possibly can, okay? So get ready for the question. Who are you? You're holy shit. That's awesome. So some of you were able to answer really quickly, and that's awesome because you're all fucking rocket scientists. Most of you looked at me with blank expressions like, what? Like, how can I possibly do that? How can you possibly do that as a human? It's difficult. Now we're asking you to do it with unlimited keystrokes. Holy shit. It's like this little robot guy who you can't really see. I assure you, he looks very, very sad and lost. So our public persona online, it has to be all of us. That's the expectation going forward. People say all the time, follow me on Twitter for who I am. People say, follow me for what I do. I want you to follow me for being me. Why can't you do that? Where's the problem? And that problem is sort of, we're always concerned with this basic fact, which is how you present yourself is how others will value you. And we know that. And when we're given a platform where it's conscious and concrete enough that we can backspace and we can look on thesaurus and use words that we don't really know, but Wikipedia or something says it means the same thing, and we're like, yeah, that's like 8 syllables, badass. Yeah, that's not you, but it makes you look more valuable. And we know that. So challenge yourself going forward to understand that it's way more valuable to be who you are, because the moment I start talking to you guys and I use that word and you don't know it, I don't value you at all because you're no longer genuine. So this is going to be fun. Are you guys ready? So for instance, here are some of the ways I've presented myself in the past. Yeah, I was a really dorky, awkward kid. So it's a little bit dark, but in one picture, you see that I play the cello, and that, yeah, it's pretty cool, right? I've been playing for 15 years. You see that I had long hair and was a dork. Maybe I look a little bit professional. I met the fucking Dalai Lama, suck it. And then here, I'm even presenting myself and understanding that you all are going to value me based on the way I present myself because you're all fucking rocket scientists. And what this is branding. So without realizing it, every time we put up a profile picture or delete an image or something like that, we brand ourselves as something not human. We brand ourselves as a valuation that's better than who we really are because we're uncomfortable accepting the fact that we have flaws and it's okay for us to be vulnerable. So how do we mitigate these limited keystrokes with limitless reactions? So online, we don't have the luxury to course correct. If I'm looking at Anton and I say something that offends him, I can see that. If I say something that you think is funny, I can see that. I can course correct. I can be dynamic and feel that out. Online, if I post something and with 40 or 35, 37,000 followers, I don't know how people are reacting. So the best way to mitigate this pressure is to understand that being public online does not mean that your followers are merely an audience. They're your friends. And what do you do with your friends? It's the E word. You empathize. No, you engage. It's not one-sided. You can mitigate these pressures by spending time on it. You don't get to just look at someone and talk at them. It doesn't work that way. And if we want our experiences online to advance our identity faster, we need to understand that we need to start acting like humans. And this actually worked pretty well for Neo because he turned into a badass and blew up Sentinels because of who he was online. He realized that he could advance faster there. He learned more about himself in the digital space than he was able to in real life, and yes, Zion is still in the Matrix, and that's really sad. But going forward, I want you guys to just remember that we need to retain the human factor and be comfortable with our identity to mitigate all the different pressures and get rid of them, and I think that that's what BIL's about. It was an honor to speak to you guys. Seriously, talk to me afterwards. I do need a job. And here's a little heart. So thank you guys. You're awesome. I love you all. Ah.